to another episode of Let's Play Red Dead Redemption 2. My name is Kelthos, and in the last episode, we had finished that quest we started in the episode before that, where we were helping that guy to hunt down the gator, and we saved his friend from the gator, and then we saved ourselves from the gator, and then we had to do it once more, but we finally got away from that thing. I don't think we killed it, but we got away from it. And we left, and Dutch told us to meet him and the guy later on there after he gathers everybody up and gets them ready to face off against Bronte. And then we were reading the journal when I had to go. So in this episode, we're going to continue reading the journal and get all caught up, and then we're going to go meet Dutch and see where we can go from there. So here we go. This is where we were, I think, right? No, that ain't where we were. Hang on. Here we are. We've moved again. More trouble with the Pinkertons, more trouble with them locals, more trouble all around. Little Jack's been kidnapped, so we're trying to find him. Apparently some fella in Saint Denis, Senor something or other, took umbrage to our presence and kidnapped him, or heaven forbid worse. We burnt down Braithwaite Manor when we went hunting for him in an almighty scrap. That's true. Then we got spoken to again by Agent Milton. This time he asked us for Dutch's head on a platter. We got him to leave, but they ain't too pleased with us. Well, of course they're not. They wouldn't be hunting us if they were. So we headed into St. Denis to find little Jack. We was told he'd been kidnapped by some local gangster, this Italian feller called Bronte, a local tough guy. We ain't found him, but he's found us. Dutch and I headed into town and managed to get myself robbed by a bunch of children. This was a new low, even by my standards. Anyway, we found Mr. Bronte and... Oops. Oh, shit. Ugh. Hang on again. Okay. And are going to pay him a call. We better get the boy back soon, not least because if we don't, Abigail will kill a lot of us. All this after we burned down Braithwaite Manor House looking for him and made some real enemies of ourselves back in that country. We're now heading deep into the swamps, trying not to get eaten by wildlife or sunk too deep in mud. I can't decide which I like less, the swamps or the city. Both are full of parasites, reptiles, and slime, but the swamp's prettier. Dutch is trying to think of where we can run to next, but in the meantime we are deep in the swamps, hiding in some disease-ridden old plantation house, mostly swallowed up by nature. Guess we will find Jack, get some money, and then flee, but where? These bastards ain't giving up. We're a long way east of land we know and far from real open country. That's true. Met a crazy man in Saint Denis, a professor no less, Marco Drogic. I'm still amazed by what I experienced. He had me control a tiny boat remotely. How? I have no idea. I did not understand any of it, but even though he was annoying and a sharp mouth, he seemed obviously highly intelligent. Was I duped? I have no idea. Wouldn't be the first time I've fallen for the rantings of an intelligent man telling me how to think. Only he didn't tell me how to think. Whole thing was odd. Told me to come see him at his lab at Dover Hill. Maybe. Met a curious Frenchman in a bar, bought him a drink, and he gave me a picture, said he was an artist, although I'm not sure I see what good that... What is so good about it? Oh. Met a monk, helped him free a couple poor bastards from the islands someplace who were kept prisoner. The monk, what was his name, brother something or other, was a good fellow, one of these innocent people who make you feel better about human beings and even about yourself a little. Must be odd to see all that goodness in the world. Place always seemed dark and brutal to me. Well, that's because of your experiences, dude, and what you go through. Met a weird fella once, 100 gallons of moonshine for love. Never heard such nonsense in all my life, and I know some talkers of nonsense. Guess I'll go ask that clerk Alden, Trelawney's disappointed friend, if maybe he knows a way of finding it, as I think there's money in this. Met a pair of fellas from a chain gang, black fella named White, white fella named Black. They wanted to kill each other. They begged me to clear off some wanted posters for them. Collected the posters. Old White and Black weren't so innocent as they seemed. No, they were not. Took the shine to the fella in Saint Denis, a professor no less, Andrew something or other. He's built an electric chair as a kind way of killing folk as needs killing. Oh, the irony of it all. Even more ironic, me so tough and him so weak. I never got paid. I didn't realize we never got paid, or maybe I did. I don't remember. If I want to get paid for this nonsense, I gotta find a bounty. Oh yeah, we did. A bounty name of Wilson J. McDaniels, so he can be humanely disposed of at enormous cost to everybody, as opposed to shot in the head like I would do. Still ain't been paid for this. Saint Denis. Drawing of some sort. Oh, fuck. Now we gotta frickin' scroll through pages again because I accidentally closed the goddamn journal. Okay. I always heard Saint Denis was one of the 7 wonders of the world. If this is so, I don't much care to see the other 6. It's a depressing place that shows you the only thing worse than people is a whole lot of people. I have not ever met a lizard in a suit before, only now I have, and his name is Angelo Bronte. He is either our salvation or our damnation. This city's strong man arrived from Italy a few years ago and now knows and controls everything and everyone. He had not harmed Jack other than feeding him strange food. That doesn't harm anybody. And Dutch seems to think that maybe we can get something from this oily dictator. Personally, I don't trust him more than I'd trust any hungry animal not to try and eat me, but for now we are somewhat safe and hidden. Whole place gives me the creeps. Mary wrote to me, wants to see me again. Oh, Mary, what fools we are. What fool I am. Saw Mary and the awful daddy who has taken to drink, which unsurprisingly ain't improved him a whole lot. What a foul pig he is, taken to hawking off family heirlooms and cursing the world for it. Still a stuck-up son of a bitch. Now Mr. Linton has passed away. I wonder what he wants for his daughter. Funny thing is, I love her, and yet am a bad lot. Old Daddy is a good, upright man, and yet he treats his daughter like a possession to be mistreated and abused as he sees fit. Strange creatures, men. I don't know. All I know is that I love her, and she both loves and detests me. It never worked before, and it won't ever work now, yet it gnaws at me. The idea of it gnaws at me like a sickness. I've got to give all that nonsense up. I'm an outlaw, a murderer, a man with a code different to ordinary folk, and Mary ain't never going to be for my world. We went to a vaudeville show in town. Dancing from France, quite a business. What is wrong with me? Do I really think I can retire someplace nice and live a normal life with a wife? Am I a big enough dolt to believe that is possible? I mean, it is possible eventually, I would think. I went to an art gallery. Seems fine and fancy living. Ain't quite so different from life in the wilderness. Robbing stagecoaches. Was an exhibition of paintings by the artist I met a couple times. Charles something or other, French fella. Seems he'd been doing more than painting his models. Well, yeah, he had. Their husbands weren't so keen on the liberties he'd been taking with the subject matter. Whole thing descended into a brawl. Had to help him escape. The mayor of Saint Denis Mansion. Ah, be right back again. My lord, now I have done everything. I went to a ball like a fool in a fairy tale. The mayor of Saint Denis, Dutch, got us invited by old Signor Bronte, and off we trooped, trussed up like turkeys for Thanksgiving, and waxed and polished and primed to within an inch of our lives. Bronte did not mingle with the other guests, but lorded over the place like a Roman emperor, deciding who to have killed for his fun. Place was full of drunks, lunatics, liars, and clowns, but the thing was kind of fun. Managed not get into too much trouble, and may have some business opportunities on account of inquiries there. We shall see, I guess. Seeing Bill dressed up like an ambassador and awkward as a schoolgirl was one of the funniest moments of my life. I met Evelyn Miller, the writer, which was amazing for Dutch. Met the mayor, Dutch, and Hosea seemed to think this dump is a world of possibilities. They want to look into the bank and some other business opportunities. We shall see. As long as we can keep ahead of the Pinkertons and Mr. Cornwall and the rest of them for a while, maybe we shall be okay. Drawings. Met a writer, Evelyn Miller, in the street. Met that writer, Evelyn Miller, in the street. He remembered me from the party. Apparently, my petty crime did not go entirely unnoticed. Better keep my head down for a little better. He introduced me to a couple of Indians, father and son. Son angry, father with an air of what exactly? Of something both impressive and frightening and kind about him. A great man defeated by powerful and awful forces? I do not know. But his eyes, his very manner spoke to me. Somehow I have agreed to help them. Seems they, like us, have problems with that gilded ape, Leviticus Cornwall, and his foul empire. We shall see how this pans out. Met a strange guy. Thought he was a prophet. Blind. Met a real pair of, well, I don't know quite what they were. Names were so ridiculous I won't even begin to try to remember them, but they were Greek or Latin or gibberish. Pair of twins, dead keen on insulting each other and hitting each other to impress a woman. I done lots of stupid things to impress women, but this was ridiculous. I ended up being William Tell. I think they was college boys. Guess education ain't always the answer to mankind's problems. Nice enough boys, but odd as hell. They really were. Met this fella, Algernon Wasp. Not sure how to describe him, but I won't forget him. Anyway, I could not do him justice. Different kind of fella, but he says he'll pay good money for assorted feathers and eggs and whatnot for his creations for various rich women. Gave me a list of things he wants. Took McDaniels in and watched him fry. Weren't very nice, weren't very humane. The professor got upset and got involved before possibly killing himself with electricity, and I never got paid. If they catch me, I pray they hang me. That chair is a work of the devil. Got into a fight with a drunk giant with a tiny head. Yes, that's what happened. Fella was strangling a barkeep who had turned off his liquor supply. Part of some kind of circus act. The show was run by a woman, Marjorie, I think. She's missing a tiny magician. I suppose we all are. He's run away into the woods. Said if I saw him, I'd send him back to them. Went back to see Calloway and Levin. Calloway, still a drunken clown, had me kidnap some old adversary, Slim Grant. They ended up shooting each other, and then Calloway turned on me. Less said, the better. But Levin has himself a book, and I will slide back into obscurity. Gunslinging ain't the life for me. I prefer good, honest killing with none of the pretension. There he is. Jim Boy Calloway, I mean. Found the little magician and reunited this odd family. Fella tried to give me the slip a few times, but in the end seems they love each other even more than they hate each other, or at least it was close. Want me to see their show sometime in Saint Denis, and they say they'll reward me then as they were broke now. Went to the professor at his lab. He had built a sort of mechanical sun. He seemed to think it was amazing, but we could not get the thing to work properly. I was not half as impressed with him as he was with himself. True. Found Charles the artist dressed as a streetwalker, trying to flee from the sordid men he'd offended, fleeing to the South Seas. Wonder if we'll see him there. Maybe. Somehow got myself involved in the charming business of Saint Denis culture. The mayor, who knew we robbed him a while back, invited me over to his mansion again. Strange man, nice and awful, cynical and caring, wants to make this city thrive, doesn't seem to care how he goes about it. Threatened me in order to make me threaten some art professor on his behalf. Why? So the art professor will verify that a bunch of paintings ain't the forgeries he believes. They are genuine article. He thinks they aren't. In order to fill people with joy that they are looking at a real work of genius. That was a confusing paragraph. Not a good copy of a work of genius. Yes, I was pretty confused by the whole thing, but I did as I was bid to, and the professor changed his mind once he saw that I would be happy to turn his mind into nothingness. Kieran, that poor kid we spared from O'Driscoll's gang in the mountains, is dead, killed by the bastards. He saved my life, and I could not save his. They chopped off his head and tried to kill the lot of us. Miss Adler fought braver than any of us. She is driven by powers and forces I scarcely understand. That's what love has done to her, I guess. I feel like an animal living out in the mud here. The whole place gives me the creeps. Seems those of us who thought Angelo Bronte was a lizard in a suit was right, and them as thought he was a gentleman thief eager to help us on our merry way was wrong. Bastard sent us into a trap in town, told us to rob a trolley station, no money, but the entire police force was waiting for us. Dutch nearly died. Lenny fought real hard. The kid is good in a fight and saved us. Dutch is planning some big escape for us all. Some grand master planned, even if we are attempting here seems troubled. Everything we're attempting here seems troubled. I hope we can get out of here alive. Yeah, seems like everything, like you're up against everything. Right now, it doesn't seem likely. Dutch is raging about Bronte's deception or betrayal or whatever quite it was. Dutch don't like being made a fool of. Even Micah, with all his teasing and needling, plays it cool with Dutch. I would not want to be Bronte right now. I cannot see Dutch letting this pass. No, I can't either. Sorry that took up like almost all the episode, but I think it's worth it to read that and get their thoughts on things. And so we need to go meet Dutch. Where, though? Where the hell is Dutch? Oh, he's way up there. Alright. Guess we gotta go there next. Actually, that's not too far from where we are, so I'll leave it in. But we need to get to our horse. Well, first we need to take care of our camp here. Tear down camp. Yeah. Now we can go.
Back out there, girl.
Yep, back out there. Don't run into the trees.
Yep.
Jump. There we go. And go this way.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the timer. So in the next episode, we will go to Dutch and see what he wants. and continue on from there. I want to thank you all for watching, and if you like what you see, I suggest you subscribe to my channel so you can see the new videos I post every single day. And if you really like the videos, I'd really like it if you could leave a thumbs up and a comment. That way I could have some interaction on my channel and know that people are actually watching and actually care. And if you want to know when I post my videos exactly when I post them, the best way to do that is to turn on your notifications as well. I will talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.